In this video, I want to share something that really helped me find my love and passion for health and fitness again after my athletic career was over. Because in coaching thousands of women over the last near decade, we tend to work with a lot of women who are former athletes. They played multiple sports in high school, maybe they even played in college, and we've also worked with a few that played after college and played some, something or did something professionally as well for a little bit. And we have a couple coaches on our team who are former professional and D1 athletes as well. And for those that you don't know, I was a four sport athlete growing up in Iowa. I played baseball, basketball, football, and ran track. Didn't have much of a life. I was a coach's son. And when I was like 12 or 13, I fell in love with the gym. As a coach's son, I wasn't out partying, chasing girls because it never looks good for an athlete in high school to get in trouble, but especially as a coach's kid, it would look extra bad if I got popped by being at a party, right? So going to the gym and stealing like my dad's gym key for the weight room at high school was kind of like my outlet, and I really fell in love with training. In some ways, looking back, I think I loved training for the sport sometimes more than I did actually playing the sport, if that made sense. And I had all this motivation because I wanted to be, all conference as a freshman or sophomore and become all district and all state, and wanted to get the college scholarship and all those things. So that's why I trained so hard. That's why I ate right. And I put so much effort, and I saw myself being rewarded on the court, the diamond, the field. And that's where I really fell in love with health and fitness and what it allowed me to do from an athletic career standpoint. I ended up playing some college baseball, but what I really struggled with is once I graduated college and I got a job in finance in Chicago, and my athletic career, my baseball career was over. That was really in the first like year or two in the corporate world where I would say, according to my standard, I got out of shape. I probably gained 15, 20 pounds. I wasn't eating near as well as I used to. I was going to happy hours. I was drinking more alcohol than I ever had before. I was traveling for work, staying at hotels, eating airport food, having airport beers. And it really started to, impact how I felt, especially how I looked. And but I just had kind of lost my drive because ever since, for the last 10 plus years at that point, I trained for sports. Like that's why I was in really great shape, is because of athletic performance. And when that was gone, it was almost like, what's the point? And I really struggled for a couple of years. And I know I'm not alone because we speak to women all the time who have the similar thing. Oh, I was in great shape when I was playing sports, and then I got a 9 to 5 job and then climbed the corporate ladder. And then for them, marriage, kids, career, they got promoted. They're now managing people, and they kind of lost their why, or they kind of had what's the point moment in their own health and fitness journey as well. So I can relate because before when I would go and work out, it was to be a starter as a freshman in college. It was in high school to get that scholarship and be all state and take our team to state finals and qualify and all these things. So I had so much determination, and then when it was all gone, it was like, what am I training for anymore? And it took me a couple of years to figure it out. But what I will tell you, what made the huge difference for me is I looked at how I did for sports, and why I trained so hard was for sports. And then I made this shift, and I had this realization that now my training and why I was eating right, why I was working out, was for my career. Because I noticed early on those that really climbed the ladder in my firm, who became vice presidents, who became presidents, who became managing directors, even the COO, CFO, CEO, people in those roles, one thing that I saw between all of them is they took really good care of themselves. I remember going to an annual meeting in Houston, 500 people there, all the higher ups in our firm, and I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym at the embassy, I believe it was Embassy Suites that we were staying at, and in that place there was like the third in line to the CEO. There was this woman who was head of like North American sales. There was the head of tax-free fixed income, and they were all working out. And my peers were like nursing a hangover. They showed up to the meeting, rolling in. Looks like they hadn't got the great night of sleep. They had bags under their eyes and such. So I realized early on in my career, a couple years in, that there's something to be said about taking care of yourself. Not only for the mindset and the mental side of it, to be focused, to be productive, to feel good, to have energy that obviously helps you in your career, but looking the part as well. Like we wore suits. When you walked into a room, when you were confident in how you felt and how you looked, you just showed up different. You weren't afraid to speak. You weren't afraid to be seen. You asked for what you wanted when it came to a raise or promotion. You carried yourself different, and that's why I saw some people in the firm really climb the ladder. It makes a huge difference. And once I had that realization, it's like, okay, I used to train for sport. Now I'm training for my career. And I spent 4 years in the corporate world before starting, our company that we have now. In the last like year and a half, it really started to pay off. I got a couple raises. I got a couple big bonuses. As I left, there was probably 30, 40 peers in my same role at our firm, and I was the highest paid out of any of them. And it really came back to the fact that I started really taking care of myself, and I was training just as hard in the gym and with my nutrition and my health and wellness protocol as I did when I was an athlete before. But as opposed to seeing those gains on the field, ball diamond, court, whatever, I was starting to see it in my career. I was getting advancements. I was being noticed. I very confident I would have climbed the corporate ladder, but I decided to walk away from it all. But again, what I'm sharing, I share this for two reasons. One, I understand when your athletic career is over, a lot of women will find themselves in this little moment of like, what's the point? Some last, there for a year, some 5, 10 years, and it finally catches up with you. So you're not alone. It happened for me, and I love health and fitness, but my first couple of years in the corporate world, I really struggled. I was just going through the motions with working out. I was going for walks. I'd go to like our apartment gym and just kind of go through the motions. Wasn't eating right, drinking too much. So I've been there, and health and fitness has been my life since I've been 12 years old. So if you're a woman who's struggling with that, no, you're not alone. But two, I share the second part is I shift my mindset and understanding like, okay, for so many women that we work with, they want to, set records for sales. They want to make more money. They want to climb the corporate ladder. They want to get promotions. They want to, grow their business. Work with a lot of women who are business owners and entrepreneurs. And I'm here to tell you, when you make your health and fitness a priority, you will see the positive benefit of that in your career, in your business. Your waistline impacts your bottom line. We've had this with so many women that we work with. When they start to really understand that, it unlocks this different level of motivation, determination, and consistency because they see it. Like, for example, I remember this because this is a perfect example for this. But a woman a couple years ago who joined our program, she was a real estate agent in Colorado. And she had been top dog for 10 years, but the last couple years she had struggled. And we were having a conversation, and a big part of why she was struggling was because she gained 30, 40 pounds. She no longer liked to show up on camera. She wasn't posting on social media as much. She used to do home tours. Every time she get a new listing, she'd have a videographer come out and film her, walking through the house. But she no longer wanted to be on camera because she was embarrassed in how she looked. So now she was just, recording the video with no human or not herself in the video. She would stop going to community events because she had nothing to wear. She didn't feel comfortable. And she realized in talking to her, she was making other excuses. Oh, it's the market, it's interest rates. But some agents in her office were having record years. So, it couldn't necessarily be that because winners find a way to win no matter what the market says. And she knew that. But as we kind of peeled back the layers, it was really the weight that she had gained was significantly impacting her business as a real estate agent. She was out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people and former clients. That's just an example. And we've had so many women in our program where they start making their health and fitness a priority. They stay consistent and they start to get advancements in their career. They get promotions. They have record months within their business. We see it time and time and time again. So I just share this to, again, show that you're not alone, because it happens to the best of us. If you kind of hit this, what's the point after your athletic career? But then finally, use the fuel in your career, because making your health and fitness a priority will unlock those levels that you want when it comes to your career and your business.